Hello everyone, I've got a bit of a fun team for you to close out Season 6. As I'm sure you know, this last week is Kanto Cup, it's unranked. It's a great time to muck around with something a bit silly. So what I've got here for you is an all-electric team. Maybe they'll make their own theatre at some point. We've got Alolan Raichu on the lead with Volt Switch, Psychic and Wild Charge. We've got Alolan Graveler with Volt Switch, Stone Edge and Rock Blast. And we've got Electrode with Volt Switch, Discharge and Hyper Beam. As I'm sure you will very quickly spot, if you run into a Shadow Victory Bell, you basically just lose. Venusaur, you can claw it back, but you're in a difficult position. It basically relies on you landing that Psychic, or otherwise taking it out quite quickly. And if you run into any ground types, you're toast. Fortunately, however, ground types aren't all that common in this meta, so that's why I'm running with this team, and I'm kind of getting away with it. So let's hop into the matches and see how they play out. We've got Hyper Beam on the Electrode, just because of the embarrassing number of times people Hyper Beam me during the Love Cup, and I wanted to return the favour a little bit. Power Play is quite a good alternate choice. Right, so, great first lead, we've got a Gyarados, double vulnerable to Electric. They go quickly into the A mark, and we're just going to move into a Wild Charge and switch immediately. And get the shield, great. Go for a switch into the Electrode, because obviously the Snarl damage will be super effective, as will the Dark Pulse. 3 volt switches in the Discharge, we get that second shield off them. We could afford to let this land properly, but actually if we don't, we can farm down and get a bit of an energy lead, I think. So, okay, well, I guess we're not, but we are going to let this one land. And it doesn't take us out, and I think a Discharge will let us finish it off. So that's what we're going to do. Okay, so now we get to find out what they've got as their next best electric. The fact they've brought Gyarados back in says to me that their team is weak to electric. So we bring Raichu back, and we'll shield the Gyarados because it might be a crunch, but counting timing on it, I don't think they've managed to build to it because it was a waterfall. It's a Raichu of their own, only there's a Kanto Raichu. Great for us because we resist their electric moves and we resist their probably Brick Break that they've got there. Obviously we're Psychic. And look at that, our Psychic takes a massive chunk off them and we don't shield their Brick Break because it doesn't take us out. We could switch to the Graveler and just farm down with the Volt Switch. In comes Gyarados again, goodbye. It seems a little bit ridiculous, but seems to work. There's obviously quite a bit of water in the meta, and actually not all that much grass, I find. Some, but you know. Right, so Lapras lead. Again, good for us. They've got the water gun there, so they're building up the energy and taking our health down. We're just going to build up because they haven't switched yet, because we're anticipating that, again, we've got a team here that isn't all that capable of coping with electric. Double Wild Charge. They either double shield or they lose the Lapras. And it hasn't thrown a move yet. So, 2 shields down, we go quickly for a switch to the Electrode. We catch the probable incoming Surf on a shield. Oh, it was a Blizzard, even better, okay. Primeape, great. So, Primeape's going to hurt with Night Slash a little bit, but not that much. Night Slash is a decent move, but not all that chunky. And they've got no shields, and we have a Hyper Beam. This is why I have a Hyper Beam, it's just so satisfying. Yep, you get beamed. In comes the Lapras again, so whatever they've got in the back really doesn't like electric. Okay, so farm down with Raichu. Are we going to get to a Wild Charge? No, we're not. But it's Tentacruel, so yes, that does indeed not like electric. And actually our Stone Edge is not going to be quite as good against it because it's not super effective. However, it does hit quite hard anyway, so kabonk. Goodbye, Tentacruel. What we've got next? Raichu leading into Snorlax. Now Snorlaxes don't like their shield, so we are just going to build up to Wild Charge and switch. The problem we've got here is obviously the lick damage is super effective against the Psychic, so it can't really stick around. But that's okay, because Wild Charge and switch out works very nicely for us. And they got to the move just at the same time as us, so we shield here. Body Slam coming through? Yeah. I would have done us a lot of damage because of the debuff. So go back to the Graveler, because the Graveler resists normal type. Now, I think that was a bit too quick for superpower, but I'm not going to risk it. Graveler's a bit squishy anyway. and we do outpace the Snorlax a little bit, so we're just going to go straight into a Stone Edge here. We've got an extra Volt Switch of energy, so we are going to beat them to the next move anyway. And I'm going to go for a bit of a farm down and try it again. Another Stone Edge, goodbye Snorlax. And we got it before we got the move off. In comes Dugong. Now this is an interesting one, because I think that they're bringing a water type in an electric means that whatever they've got in the back is also a water type. Take a big chunk off the Dugong, and they're going to take us out with, well, almost anything, but it's been nicely wind probably. Yep. So, can Raichu get to the move? No, it can't. Now, perhaps in hindsight I should have switched there, because now I've got to try and get Electrode to take out a Beedrill. And we're not going to get to the Hyper Beam in time, and I don't think this charge will take him out from this range. So, in comes Drill Run. Good game to my opponent. As I said, ground types cause it a real problem, and Beedrill is not quite a ground type, but it might as well be with that Drill Run. It hits like a truck. So, Raichu into Marowak. Another sort of pretend ground type. Bone Club is a threat to this team. Fortunately, Bone Club is a dreadful move generally, so it's not all that big a deal. We shield here because there's about 50-50 chance of being Bone Club or Shadow Bone, and both will hurt. So, Shadow Bone it was. Okay, so we're going to go for double wild charges back to back, and this should either get the shield, take it out, or perhaps both. Take it out, jolly good. In comes Snorlax. We're going to throw another wild charge, see if they want to shield that. Look at that, even the bulky beast of Snorlax takes a huge chunk off that wild charge. So we're going to farm it for a bit, and we shield here, anticipating a superpower. A bit too early, so it's Rock Slide, but either way, preserves our health a bit. Got 2 Rock Blasts stacked now, and one will be enough to take it out, so either we get the shield, or we take the Snorlax out. Or ideally, we get shield and take the Snorlax out. That'd be better still. Or maybe we just have a nap. Yeah, there we go. Right, bye Snorlax. So, no shields left, but 3 Pokemon versus 1. I think that's good for us, and it's a Lapras. Okay, so that's bad news for them, because this is going to hit them super effective. And any minute now. And it didn't shield. Okay, either they've gone non-responsive, or they've just thrown their phone across the room in rage. Either way, good game to my opponent. Next up. Have you noticed how people start to sort of lag out about at the point where they lose hard? Anyway, what's next? Raichu into Hypno. So this is quite good for us actually, because Hypno is doing psychic damage with his confusions, and we resist those. At the same time, we're building up wild charges, and we do outpace them slightly to their charge move, because obviously wild charge has that slightly higher energy gain. We've got 2 loaded now, and they've brought the Snorlax in, so we're just going to unload back-to-back wild charges. Again, take a massive chunk of the Snorlax and get a debuff on ourselves, but that's okay. We weren't going to stick around anyway, because the lick damage was going to add up. So quickly switch to Graveler, because again, Graveler means they really need to superpower us. And again, I don't think that's a superpower, but I'm going to shield it anyway. Oh, okay, it was a superpower. Good call. Yeah, so take the Snorlax out, build up the energy. We've got some energy loaded. The Snorlax does too, and we have Venusaur here. So Venusaur is, as I said, a threat to this team because it resists the electric, and we're triple electric. So Stone Edge goes kablam, and we'll go able to pressure it with a Rock Blast. It is, however, a Razor Leaf Venusaur, so it's not cranking out the Frenzy Plants at an outrageous rate. So we're going to bring our Electrode in, and we're going to go Farmy Farm because we have a shield left. We can afford to soak 1 Frenzy Plant, and maybe this will be enough to take. We can go for a Farm Down. Let's go for a Farm Down. And yep, they switch out the Venusaur into a Hypno, and we've got a Hyper Beam ready. So, kablam! Goodbye Hypno. I think that Hypno had a move ready, but it might have over-tapped, and got to a discharge in time to take the Venusaur out. So, what next? Raichu into Hypno again. So, Shadow Hypno this time. They're much more likely to shield, however, they've also probably just thrown punches around. We do have a resist their confusion damage, and the fact they're throwing means that they've probably got something that can hurt us, so we're going to shield. And it was a fire punch. I'm guessing Fire Punch, Thunder Punch on this Hypno then. You don't tend to see Shadow Ball very often on the Shadows, just because they're that much more squishy. Either way, Wild Charge puts a lot of pressure on. It's either shield or get knocked down. So, having taken 2 shields, we're going to switch out immediately into Graveler. In comes the Lapras, which is a brave choice, given Rock hits super effective, Electric hits super effective, and Stone Edge will take it out. Goodbye, Lapras. And in comes Hypno again. They've got the move ready. I'm hoping it's Fire Electric, but I'm going to shield it anyway. So Fire it is. I'm guessing Fire Electric, because otherwise they'd probably use Ice Punch if they had it. Fire Punch there. Didn't quite take us out. We've got the Rock Blast. We've got another Volt Switch through for a bit more extra energy. Whether we get to another Rock Blast, I don't know. Not quite. Now, this is a difficult position, because you remember what happened before with Beedrill? It got the Drill one first. It's got 2 moves on us, so we're going to throw 2 Volt Switches. We're going to switch. We're going to catch the Drill run. They can't afford not to throw really at this point. And then the Electrode can come back in and get to the discharge here. Kerblam. Goodbye, Beedrill. I'm not actually entirely sure that would have taken it out if it hadn't been a Shadow, but who knows. Always nice to see a Beedrill around. Next up, Raichu into Venusaur. So, as I said, Venusaur is a problem for this team, so what we're going to do is go for a cheeky Psychic and hope they don't shield it. Because if they do, we might as well quit. However, often when you're facing these in Great League, this doesn't have Psychic. It's got, either Thunder Punch or Wild Charge and Grass Knot for coverage, just because. So, Venusaur's gone, that's good. We can get to a Wild Charge here, and hopefully take out Snorlax with a Wild Charge. Off we go. Nope, we get a shield, that's fine by me. We switch immediately to Graveler, again, putting that cost on them to throw slightly more expensive superpowers at us. Or even more expensive Earthquakes, actually. Wow, okay. Earthquake's a good solid move on a Snorlax, but it's expensive, so you don't see it very often. Stone Edge, of course, takes Snorlax almost out entirely. And we've got a Wigglytuff in the back. Yay, Wiggly. Okay, so go for Stone Edge again. This will either get the shield, which is good, or take it out, which is good. So, get the shield, that's fine. And probably should have switched there, but still. Now we've got an Electrode, and we've got a Raichu to catch the charge move. Thank you. Sorry, Raichu, I've thrown you under the bus a few too many times this time. Anyway, so Electrode can now comfortably get to that Hyper Beam because of the charge rate of Wigglytuff being so atrociously low. You got beamed. Right, what's next? Hello? Okay, there we go. What it froze on the same timestamp, I don't know, still. Anyway, what's next? Raichu into Hypno, okay? As before, we resist the confusion, so that's good, and we outpace them slightly to our charge move. And we lag a little bit in the process. Okay, so that's been plenty now, so I'm anticipating maybe Shadow Ball coming through. It's a Thunder Punch. So they're baiting, but they have got a Shadow Ball nearly ready, so we're just going to double Wild Charge here, because that's exciting. And Wild Charge hits like a truck. And I shouldn't have thrown a Volt Switch there, that did me far too much damage. Okay, both shields down, we go for a switch to Graveler. In comes the Wigglytuff. Now this is where you get to see how much damage Stone Edge will do. Is it enough? I don't think it's quite enough to one-hit KO it. Wigglytuff is pretty chunky. But look at that, straight down in the red. And maybe actually we'll be able to take it out before it throws. Yes, we will. Excellent. Bye, Wiggly. In comes the Hypno, farms for energy. Well, that's okay, we can live with that. We're bringing back Raichu, and we can afford to shield this because we'll be able to take it out and switch immediately. Yeah, Thunder Punch it is. And we'll go for Wild Charge. We could possibly got another bit of energy in, but still. My fingers are getting cold at this point, so I'm missing the bubbles. In comes a Snorlax. This is going to be fun because we've got a Hyper Beam waiting for that Snorlax. However, Body Slam's going to hurt. I think we can take another one before they take us out. So there we go. How much damage does a Hyper Beam do to a Snorlax? Let's find out. Quite a lot. Goodbye Snorlax. They're going to take us out with the Body Slam, but our Raichu isn't down just yet, and I think one Volt Switch will be more than enough to finish the job. Bye Snorlax. Did I mention this is a ridiculous team? It's going to lose hard against the wrong threats. Hopefully I've got one for you later where it shows you just how bad this can go. Right, so we've got a Dragonair. Dragon Breath is a real nuisance here. Obviously the dragons resist our electric. So we are just going to have to... I'm not entirely sure actually. We don't want it to be facing the Graveler because of the Aqua Tail. So what we want to do is build up to double wild charges and throw back-to-backs and see if we can't take it out with that. Okay, so now we can afford to go down because we've got our energy out of the way, and hopefully we've got 2 shields. No, but we've very nearly taken out the Dragonair. That's okay, that'll do me. Graveler can come in, it's the Aqua Tail, it's super effective, we have the shield. But we get free energy off this Dragonair. There we go, thank you. The resist works in our favour, and in comes a Snorlax. So, Stone Edge time. And is it going to shield? Kabonk! Goodbye. Takes his health down quite a long way. Obviously we don't have the shield left, so this is going to land. It's a Body Slam, which we resist. That's great. And now we're going to get to a Rock Blast, which should be enough to take out the Snorlax. Rock Blast is a pretty bad move, but it's quite cheap, so 50 damage for 35 energy. And it's a Marowak. So this is another one that's a bit of a problem for this team, obviously because Bone Clubs do hurt. They hurt quite a lot against the Alolan Graveler, obviously, because it's double weak to ground. Shadow Ball, yikes. Okay, that's not going to be good. Can we get to a Rock Blast? No would be the answer. Okay, and the Bone Club takes us out. Good game, good game. Actually, if they had Shadow Bone, we might have done better on that one. Perhaps. Raichu versus Raticate. Alolan Raticate, no less. So that dark normal type means it's terribly vulnerable to fighting, but does quite nicely against psychics, which we are. So we're going to go straight into our Wild Charge. And it lands. I'm going to switch immediately to Graveler. This might be a Hyper Fang. It is excellent. So we resist Hyper Fang. Great. In comes Clefable. Straight to Stone Edge time. See if we can land a Kabonk. Kabonk! There goes Clefable. So, we didn't quite make the Rock Blast this time. Still, Raichu can farm it down. And Eradicate can come in and have a nibble. That's good. That's probably a good sign because it means what have we got in the back is vulnerable. Oh, they concede. Something vulnerable to electric in the back. Maybe Gyarados? I don't know. Either way, they didn't want to go up against a Raichu. Raichu into Electrode. So, they've probably got Foul Play, I'd have thought, which they get to at the same time as us, so we immediately switch to our own Electrode. That's 6 Volt switches, so they've got back-to-backs of Foul Plays or a Hyper Beam. So we shield that in case we're a Hyper Beam, we let this one through because we know it's now a Foul Play. And right, so we've got to our own Hyper Beam. Hopefully they are anticipating us throwing a Foul Play in return, or a Discharge. I mean, it doesn't really matter. Oh. They shielded. That's no fun. Incoming from Snorlax, we're just going to let it go down. We aren't going to get another Hyper Beam off here. Body Slam takes us out, so in comes Graveler. Graveler, of course, means that their Body Slam is resisted. And we're shield. Shouldn't have done. Still, build up some energy against it, and then throw a Rock Blast. They seem to be in a shielding mood on this Snorlax, so we're going to throw the cheap move to Beta Shield. And fail. And this is where I really hope they don't have the energy for Super Power here. And they've only got Body Slam. There we go. So that's good. In comes Pidgeot. Oh dearie dear. See, things like Pidgeot don't like running into this sort of team. Not at all. So we'll go through a Rock Blast here because actually anticipating them not shielding, I undercharge here. Because I want to get the shield off them if they want to throw it, but I also want to farm them down if they, if they do. Right, so got a couple of energy doots on here. Got some low health Snorlax and an Electrode. We switch immediately to Raichu, we go for the Psychic, and hopefully they will be anticipating a Grass Knot or a Thunder Punch or a... Ooh, yeah, goodbye. In comes Snorlax. Good game. Should have shielded that Psychic. So, Raichu into Primate. Great start for us. Obviously the Night Slashes hit us for super effective, but we do resist the counters. So we shield the Night Slashes. There we go. And I think we can afford to stick around a little longer, maybe. Yes. And another Night Slash. We're going to double shield here, because I anticipate we're going to get those straight back by full double wild charge in return. So, there we go. First wild charge. Okay, we'll take out the Primate, but I'll take it. What have we got next? Whatever we get next is going to get a wild charge in the face. So, in comes a Hypno. That's a shame, because we've debuffed ourselves, so we can't afford to stick around and resist their confusion damage. And it's a Shadow Hypno, so we're going to bring our Graveler in, hoping that maybe they've got Fire Punch, Thunder Punch. Because we're not going to be able to shield it either way, so... Ice Punch. Oh well, so it goes. This could be worse. Ice Punch hits us for neutral, but it's still not super effective, so that's fine. Rock Blast, yes. Going to get to another Rock Blast? No, not quite. However, we can bring our Raichu back in now and take an Ice Punch to the face. That's unfortunate. Okay, so a Thunder Punch. That's brave. No, because they wanted to farm us for energy. That's cheeky. So, Electrode. Can you save the day, Electrode? Ice Punch. Yeah. 2... Right, so Discharge should be able to take out Hypno. We've got an energy lead here, so maybe it's a Pidgeot in the back. Can get to Discharge. It's going to be tight, but we can do it. Kablam! Goodbye, Pidgeot. Well, that was exciting. What have I got next? Raichu leading into Victory Bell. You know what I say about this being a disaster for the team? Well, let's play it out and see what happens. There is precisely zero chance they won't shield this. And sure enough, they shield. So, we go into our Electrode, we let that get taken out by, well, I guess we shield ourselves. Leaf Tornado, that's an annoying move. But didn't debuff us, so we're in with a chance still. We'll throw the Discharge. It seems likely they will shield this because it could be a foul play. Yep, good. Okay, so we're nearly taking out the Victory Bell with 2 of our Pokemon. And now we've got the one that's vulnerable to grass left. And they've got move loaded. And they're going to debuff us. Yes, Acid Spray. Right, so by some minor miracle, if this was all flies in the back, maybe, but it's not. So I think we're stuck. Like I say, this team has some things that take it apart, and Shadow Victory Bell is one of them. I think in hindsight, if I'd done it a little bit better, I could maybe switch to the Electrode first, got the shields off, and then landed a Psychic. Maybe, perhaps. Either way, right, so on we go with a good lead here, Blastoise. They go straight into Muck, which of course is super effective against the Psychic type, so we're just going to Wild Charge and run. Kablam! Get the shield, excellent. We go for a switch into Graveler because we now know that a Muck is not actually going to be able to hurt Graveler too much, and obviously the Blastoise does hit super effective against the rock. So we shield this move here so we can get our own in return. Equalise the shields, and there we go. 2 Rock Blasts loaded, so we're just going to go for back-to-back Rock Blasts. Actually no, I think one will be enough to take it out unless they want to commit the shield, and they don't. So in comes the Blastoise, and we get to the Stone Edge in time. So hopefully they'll let this land. Kabonk! Yep. Right, so not looking good for Mr. Blastoise here. We can take this down quite merrily. Incoming Hydro Cannon for sure, which we shield. And in comes a Marowak. Yikes. Okay, so Marowak is painful, as we saw before. But I think we can pull this off. Wild Charge, get the shield, yep, go for the switch to Electrode. Electrode, of course, does take super effective from the Bone Club, but it isn't taking super effect from the Shadow Bone. So that Shadow Bone isn't enough to take us out, which it would be against the Alolan Raichu. Discharge and return. 1, 2, and let's push them to use their Bone Club. That's good because it means we can now farm down with the Raichu, and they've got no energy left. Good. And Blastoise comes in. We've got the Wild Charge ready. I don't think we needed the Wild Charge. I think the Volt Switch should have done the job, but we may as well use it. Goodbye, Blastoise. Alright, here we go. And that's a 4 out of 5 set. That'll do me, and I think that's your lot. Yes. Okay. So, hope you enjoyed that. Hope you've been enjoying Kanto Cup, and I hope you're looking forward to Season 7. I have to say, I'm really going to be quite interested to see what pans out, what new balance changes we've got, and whether we've got some new XL candy coming from some of the new encounter rewards. I'll see you next week, I'm sure, with some new teams, and thanks very much for watching. Have a good day.